Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, this is Matt Breckwald. It's great to have you with us here again on our YouTube channel for episode number 777. We're back out to Illinois today, but not really, to Colorado for a student who went to high school in Illinois and is now at Colorado State. She's going to be talking to us all about being in the Honors College, how that happened, why that's important, chasing her dreams of working with horses and cattle both, as well as growing her own cattle herd during high school and how she was marketing and showing animals. We'll be talking with Kira Sayre coming up here right now. Joining me now is Kira Sayre, and she is coming to us from Colorado State University, and she's a former chapter vice president at Triopia High School in Concord, Illinois, as well as a state proficiency winner and a Silver National Award winner in beef entrepreneurship. Kira, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet. How is Colorado treating you this afternoon?
It's been pretty nice here.
Yeah?
No snow, not too...
Not too cold?
Nope, not too bad.
Okay, great. Well, I thank you for being willing to be on the show. I've been looking forward to interviewing you for a while. I'd found out about what you were doing and some of the accolades you'd been receiving, and have been looking forward to talking with you.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, let's do this. I'd love to just ask you just a little bit just about you before we start talking about your supervised agricultural experience, just so our audience can kind of get to know who they're listening to. Would that be all right with you?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, how old are you now?
So I just turned 19.
Just turned 19. So would this be your first year at Colorado State then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're back home in Illinois, do you live in town or on a farm or something kind of in the middle of those two?
So I live on my family's farm that's right outside of my hometown.
Oh, okay. And what's the name of your hometown? Is that Concord?
No, my hometown is Arnsville.
Arnsville. Okay. So the high school's in Concord. Your hometown's Arnsville.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So what kind of farming does your family do there?
So I am a fourth generation Hereford breeder, and so we run a beef cattle farm, and then we also do crop farming as well.
Oh, very cool. Okay, like corn and soybeans or something different?
Corn and soybeans, and then we have we harvest our own hay off of the waterways from our fields.
Okay, very cool. Now, in terms of the cattle, are they polled Herefords or are they horned?
Both.
Both. Oh, okay, interesting. So are you? I guess have two different registered herds or something like that, or is it all commercial?
It is a registered herd. All animals are registered except one cow that we have.
That one cow, the outcast. She's not registered. She has no papers.
Yep.
Okay. So you're selling both polled and horned. And how do you, I guess as your family does that and you're involved, how do you distinguish between customers? How do people, I guess, make up their mind if they want horns or they don't?
It really depends on what they want to breed for. So, in, I guess, present time, we've noticed that a lot more people prefer the polled cattle because they don't have to go through the, means of removing the horn, so they don't have to dehorn any cattle. So it's more efficient for, commercial breeders that we've noticed to have the polled bulls.
Mm-hmm.
But... So that makes the polled cattle a little bit more easily marketed.
Mm-hmm.
But the cattle, I like my horned cattle because I think the horns look cool.
Okay.
But not easily marketed.
Gotcha. Now, 4 generations on your farm, so how far back does that go? Do you know what year it began?
Oh,
I just wondered if you know what year that began.
So our registered farm, so Sayre Hereford Farm, which is our farm name, started in 1970.
Okay.
So we will be a 50-year farm or 50-year registered Hereford farm this year.
Yeah, no kidding. My goodness. Okay. Very, very cool. Well, now, how long have you been part of the FFA?
So I started in the FFA my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So since 2016.
Okay. And what made you want to join? Why was being part of this organization something that you wanted to do?
So both of my older sisters were in FFA, as well as my dad and my grandpa. So it's kind of just a family tradition. But I was also interested in doing it because my sisters had a lot of fun in it, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. There were nice scholarship opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
There's opportunities for just personal growth through, like, public speaking contests and livestock judging contests, and just the different, like, PE contests I thought were really interesting.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned scholarship opportunities. So, one thing that stands out about your interview is that you are from Illinois, but you're going to college in Colorado. Did that have anything to do with a scholarship, or was there another reason you chose to go out west?
So my oldest sister, who is actually a vet, pointed me in the direction of Colorado State because she knew I wanted to go into equine science.
Okay.
And so I toured the August before my senior year and fell in love with it.
Okay.
And then after I sent in, like, my application to come, I also sent in an application for the honors program out here and was admitted into the honors program.
Oh, very cool.
So that was a really big incentive as well.
Yeah, good for you. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You bet. Now, how did you choose equine science? So that, obviously we're talking about beef, and we're going to come back to your SAE and talk about beef here in a moment, but you're majoring equine science. So tell me how that came about.
So I've always loved horses. I was the typical little girl who wanted a pony for Christmas. But being on a cattle farm, we focused on the beef cattle. Well, so when I was 16, I bought my first horses and absolutely fell in love with it. And so now it's just, it's always been a dream of mine to grow up and work with horses. And so now I'm just kind of following that passion.
Interesting. I'm wondering if I'm seeing a flash of my future here. So we raise cattle on my farm in Idaho, and my daughter would love to have a horse, but I've always said, well, hey, my focus is on the cattle. The horses, they're just going to burn hay. I want something that's going to turn that into money. But when she turns 16, which is 3 years from now, I wonder if she'll go out and buy her own horse too.
Yeah, so that's my dad's perspective. He's your typical cattleman. And he says about the same that you do, that they don't make as much money.
Right.
But yeah, I just really appreciate the ones that I have because I love them.
Yeah.
They're best friends. So.
No, I get it. I enjoy horses too. Every time I've ridden a good cow horse or even a pack horse, I've always enjoyed them. But as far as having them on my own place, I don't know. I've always just, I've always just wanted to focus all that going back into the cattle and back into the farm. So, but we'll see. I could give in. I definitely could give in, especially if she gets motivated enough to buy her own horse. Well, let's do this. I'd love to acknowledge your FFA advisor or advisors. Who are those folks for you? Or who were they, I should say?
So my freshman year, I actually had a different advisor than I did for the rest of my high school. But his name was Blaine Hartwick, and after my freshman year, he actually went to teach at a different local school. And then, so for my sophomore on, my ag teacher was Brianna Harmon, and she's the one that really pushed me to go for my state, my SAE and my SAE production at the state contest, and helped push me through all those other CDE contests as well.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for acknowledging them. And Kira, really quick, I want to acknowledge a couple great sponsors here of the Off Farm Income Podcast. And everybody, of course, I'm talking about lacrossefootwear.com. They make absolutely fantastic neoprene-based rubber boots. We use the Alpha Range boots here on our farm every single day in the mud, in the snow, and when we're out irrigating in the summer. Whatever it is, we've got them on. The Alpha Range boots from Lacrosse Footwear, they say they are built to work as hard as you. There's no question about that. We did our research, and well before they were ever a sponsor, we found the Alpha Range, and finally found the boot we were looking for that would stand up to the work we do here on our farm. They're ideal for chores around the house, around the farm. They're waterproof, comfortable, and available for both men and women. So please check them out at lacrossefootwear.com. And, of course, Powder River livestock handling equipment, everybody. I've just been a fan of Powder River ever since I was a young boy out here in the West working with cattle. And to me, Powder River means livestock handling equipment. And I will tell you what, they have been doing it for over 80 years, developed on these cattle out here in the West that come off the range and are about as crazy and as afraid of people as you can get. And they can handle those cattle. They can certainly handle yours. Check them out at powderriver.com and let your local farm and ranch retailer know you'd like to see those green Powder River squeeze chutes there in their yard, so you have the chance to buy those as well. All right. Well, Kira, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. I am a cow guy, and you are a beef entrepreneurship award winner. Tell me about this.
So my SAE covers my own Hereford herd. So I had about 35 cows in my book, and I focused on breeding, market, and then showing those animals.
Okay.
So I never bought a calf to show, market, or breed. All of my calves that I showed or marketed or bred were all home raised. So I bred and owned all of my show calves. Those show calves were shown at county, state, and national levels, as I'm a part of the American Hereford Association.
Okay.
And then on the marketing standpoint, we marketed our calves to like family members, friends, local, like people we knew from our hometown, teachers, coworkers of my parents, really just anyone who wanted some homegrown beef, we sold. And then on the breeding aspect, I did my breeding through use of natural breeding and then artificial insemination as well as in vitro fertilization.
Interesting. So were you flushing embryos and doing all of that there on your own farm?
So for the flushing of the cattle, we actually took them to a facility near Iowa, I believe, and got them flushed there. And then we would put eggs in at our own farm using a man who would come around every once in a while, and we would hire his services.
Okay, very cool. Now, the AI, are you certified in doing that yourself?
So I am not AI certified, but I help my dad or our family friend who is AI certified.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Now, I wanted to ask you, you drew a distinction that, and obviously it's something you're proud of, that all of the cattle, the calves that you're showing are born there on your farm. So you're not going out and purchasing any club calves. You're breeding those and you're raising them and you're showing the progeny that have been born there on your farm. Why is that aspect of it important to you?
So to me, I just like seeing basically the fruit of my labor and knowing where those calves came from. So like while I will go out and purchase semen off like a well-known bull, I don't purchase live calves, as I prefer to raise my own cattle. Okay. And use bloodlines that we've been using for years.
Okay. Yeah, so there's some pride built into that going back to, well, I guess to 1970, almost 50 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Now, when it comes to what you're selling on the beef side, you're direct marketing to friends and family and people that you know kind of through word of mouth, and I'm assuming these are the steers and the heifers that don't kind of make the cut to be into your show string?
Yes. These are heifers that we don't choose to replace or don't choose to use as replacement heifers, and then bulls that we don't think will make it as a breeding bull.
Okay, gotcha. Now, in terms of the herd that you have of the Herefords, how long have you been developing and growing this herd?
So my book started when I was a freshman, but I've been showing since I was 8 years old, and my family's been raising Hereford cattle since before I was born. So the bloodlines in the cattle have actually been, being bred since I was a little kid.
Sure. I think what I'm asking is in terms of cattle that you own outright that are in Kira's herd, when did you get the first one?
I got my first one when I was a freshman in high school.
Gotcha. Okay. And you've been building it ever since. Have you been retaining all the heifers and just growing it that way, or are there heifers you look at and you go, no, not her, and then she goes down the road?
A little bit of both. So I will look at my own heifers out of the cattle in my book and choose which ones I choose to keep as showing and replacement heifers and ones that I choose to cull and use as market calves.
Okay. Very cool. Well, let's switch directions for just a second. So when you finish up at Colorado State and you have got your degree in equine science, what do you want to do with that? What do you see your career as once that's all completed?
So when I receive my degree, hopefully, I am looking forward to becoming a trainer and training ranch horses. So horses that can go out and help ranchers get in their cattle and sort their cattle and just help them with life on a ranch. So that way I can combine both my passion for horses and my passion for cattle.
Oh, very cool. Did you work on horseback at all on your ranch in Illinois?
I did not.
Okay, gotcha. But that's something that appeals to you.
Yes.
Do you think that'll wind up keeping you out in the West?
Maybe. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. So I know of some horse people in Illinois and Missouri that are decently close to home. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking to do some internships there or just network around home and see what's available.
Gotcha. Now, you had mentioned the fact that you were accepted to the Honors College at Colorado State. So, I am not that type of student, nor was I ever that type of student. So help me understand what that means and what the significance or the ramifications of being able to be accepted into the Honors College means.
So the Honors College here at CSU, to get accepted, you have to have a GPA of 3.5 or above. And to stay in the program, you have to keep a GPA of 3.0 throughout your years in college.
Okay.
And so for the honors program, you basically take specific honors courses that are taught by honors professors that are kind of like offsets of a normal course. So I'm currently taking one that is a history-based honors course that will cover some of my history credits. And it's a class of like 25 students instead of 200 students.
Okay.
So it's a much more close and personal classroom like situation than a normal college class is.
Okay. And when you get accepted into the Honors College, does that come with like scholarships and things like that?
Yes. So I am receiving a $1,000 yearly scholarship from the honors program, as well as some other financial reimbursement.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, when you talk about maintaining a 3.0, so for example, I think I was close to a 3.0 by the time I finished college. Maybe I was actually at one or a little bit above one. But I was not in the honors college. And so does maintaining a 3.0 in the honors college, is that a difficult task? Meaning, are those smaller classes that much more intense and that much more challenging?
For me personally, I don't find them that much more intense. I find them a little bit easier because it's a lot easier to like ask a question in a class of 25 students versus 200. And it's a lot easier to get to know your professor and your classmates in order to maybe like build study groups or just be able to go up and ask a question.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I've been in both situations, and I tend to agree with you. Really interesting, Kira. Well, I want to ask you some advice before we let you go here. For other students out there who might just be getting started and they're looking at this educational journey that's ahead of them and trying to decide how they're going to go about it, what advice would you have for them on giving it their all and maximizing their educational potential, kind of in the same way that you've done?
So definitely choose a college that fits what you want to do. So, like, if what you want like me as equine science, I picked a college that is very well known for it and has a very good program to give myself the best, like, reputation once I get out of college and the best groundwork for my degree. Another thing is, like, learn how to study, get good habits going. I know I wasn't the best at that in high school, but now that I'm in college, I do have to study a lot more for tests and quizzes. So definitely work on those types of situations, and also just get to know your professors. They are a tool and aid that is there to help you. They are not there to, like, harm your grade or hurt you. So definitely make those connections, get to know them, use office hours, and be able to, like, email them with any questions you have.
Very cool. Well, that's great advice. Kira, good luck to you, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing this today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Really happy you joined us for episode number 777 of the Off-Farm Income Podcast. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.